Hi, my name is Brandon and I'm an alcoholic and addict in recovery. Today I'm continuing to discuss The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer, talking again about fear and the role that fear plays in our lives. Singer says in his book from page 73, fear is the cause of every problem. It's the root of all prejudices and the negative emotions of anger, jealousy, and possessiveness. And that sounds a lot like what we hear in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, where they say, notice that the word fear is bracketed alongside the difficulties with Mr. Brown, Mr. Jones, the employer, and the wife. This short word somehow touches about every aspect of our lives. And so when you look at your life, when you look at what drives most of your behavior, fear and protecting yourself and the things that you think are valuable in life really are driving a lot of your behavior. That's what we're talking about here, how fear shapes the life that we lead and what we need to get past that. Because unfortunately, when we live a life shaped by fear, we open ourselves up to a lot of problems that can not only complicate our lives no matter what, but especially keep us returning back to the addiction and the addictive behaviors that we're really trying to get rid of in recovery. We're really trying to let go of is a better way to put that in recovery. So continuing reading in The Untethered Soul, he says, the purpose of spiritual evolution is to remove the blockages that cause your fear. The alternative is to protect your blockages so that you don't have fear. To do this, however, you'll have to try to control everything in order to avoid your inner issues. It's hard to understand how we decided that avoiding our inner issues is an intelligent thing to do, but everybody's doing it. Everyone is saying, I will do every single thing I can to keep my stuff. If you say anything that disturbs me, I will defend myself. I'll yell at you and make you take it back. If you cause any disturbance inside of me, I will make you so sorry. In other words, if somebody does something that stimulates fear, you think they did something wrong. You then do everything you can to make sure they never do it again. First, you defend yourself and then you protect yourself. You do whatever you can to keep from feeling disturbance. So this speaks to me in terms of, first of all, when he says, I will do every single thing I can to keep my stuff. So I think of that as the stuff is whatever I'm protecting. And usually what I'm protecting is directly related to my pride and my ego. There's something about me, my self-concept, my view of the way that other people are viewing me, and my overall ego and pride that I'm trying to keep protected, that I'm trying to hold on to. And then the other thing he talks about is taking things personally. And I am so guilty of this, especially in my addiction. But one of the things I've had to work hard on in recovery is not taking things personally. When someone has an opinion that's different than mine is, or views the world in a different way than I do, in my addiction and in the early part of recovery, I felt it was my responsibility to go and show them why they were wrong and to show why I was right. And I even viewed it as one of us is right or wrong, and I'm going to prove why I'm the one who's right. And that was me protecting my pride. That was me protecting my ego. That was me trying to assert those things onto the world around me in order to try to gain some kind of control on a world that I have no control over. I got to cut that stuff out in order to get past this and stop dealing in the fear that's dictating so much of my behavior. Got to cut that stuff out, and I've got to open up and be not only willing to accept other people and their opinions, but also accept that I could be wrong about mine. And not feel the need to protect it, but instead be open to maybe these other people have something to say that will cause me to be more informed and change the way I'm thinking. And that change is growth. And growth is why I got into recovery and why I'm staying with recovery. I don't want to get into recovery and just stay in one place. I want to continue to grow. I want to continue to build on the foundation of the spiritual life that I have established by looking at the teachings of all of these other people. I want to continue to build on that and become a better person and become something different each day. And I can't do that if I'm protecting myself, if I am trying to assert my beliefs on the world around me, rather than sharing them and then being open to receive the beliefs of others. So this is a critical part for me, has been very tough in recovery. I still struggle with this and look for opportunities when I can start to feel myself closing against what someone's saying, and those are always the opportunities that I got to remind myself, relax a little bit, open up, listen a little bit more, shut your mouth, open your ears, listen to what this person has to say, and then sit on it and just let it be. You don't have to make a judgment about it one way or the other. Just let it be. So a little bit later, he says, if you want to grow spiritually, you realize that keeping your stuff is keeping you trapped. So again, stuff in this case is whatever it is you're protecting, usually related to pride and ego. So he says, if you want to truly grow spiritually, you realize that keeping your stuff is keeping you trapped. Eventually, you'll want out at any cost. You will then realize that life is actually trying to help you. Life is surrounding you with people and situations that stimulate growth. You don't have to decide who's right or who's wrong. You don't have to worry about other people's issues. You only have to be willing to open your heart in the face of anything and everything and permit the purification process to take place. When you do this, the first thing you'll see is that situations will unfold that hit your stuff. But in truth, that's exactly what's been happening your entire life. The only difference is that now you see it as a good thing because it's an opportunity to let go. So as soon as you make yourself vulnerable to the world around you, as soon as you open up and decide, you know what, I'm going to quit protecting my pride and ego, I'm going to just open myself up to the world, I'm going to let things happen, you'll start getting hit with stuff that you would normally protect yourself from. And you got to keep in mind, and the tendency is to say, see, that's why I always protected myself. But you got to keep in mind, you don't have to do that. You don't have to protect yourselves. That's an instinct that we have that doesn't make a lot of sense when the only thing being attacked is our pride and ego. Makes sense to protect yourself if you're being physically attacked in a way that could end your life. But that doesn't happen to most of us most days. Most days, the things that are attacking us are just attacking pride and ego. And it's actually more healthful. It's more conducive to spiritual growth to let those things be attacked and to open up and allow yourself to let go of the fear related to that attack than it is to try to resist and protect yourself against it. So that's an important thing to learn. And when the last thing that I'll read about in this section of the book is, if you don't let go, you'll notice that the energy that got stimulated in your heart works like a magnet. It's a phenomenally attractive force that will pull your consciousness into it. So he's talking about the energy that gets stimulated when you feel attacked, when you start to close yourself off. The next thing you know, you won't be there. You won't maintain the same perspective of awareness that you had when you first noticed the disturbance. You will leave the seat of objective awareness from which you saw your heart begin to react, and you will get involved in the shifting energies coming from your heart. Sometime later, you'll come back and realize you weren't there. You'll come back and realize you were totally lost in your stuff. Then you will hope that you didn't say or do anything that you'll regret. So Great example of this is when if you've got a spouse, a significant other, a close friend, and you get in an argument with this person. At the beginning of the argument, you may maintain some conscious awareness of, okay, I'm getting my heart's starting to beat a little bit. I'm getting a little worked up about this. I need to cool it. I need to be open to hear this other person's needs. I need to be open to compromise. You may maintain this conscious awareness for a little bit, but then things get heated up, the argument continues, and all of a sudden you're sucked in and you're pulled away from that seat of consciousness and you're not aware anymore and you are acting out of instinct. And you either attack and you say things that you regret later, or you start to protect and you withdraw from the conversation. And which is what I do. I withdraw. I say, okay, fine, have it your way. And then I go sulk and I get in self-pity and I get down and wallow in it for a while and spend my time doing passive aggressive things and expecting the other person to pick up on it, you know. And later, I'll regain that conscious awareness of what happened. I'll kind of be able to pull back out once everything's simmered down a little bit. And I'll look back at my behavior and say, wow, why did you react like that? Why did you do that? And that's what he's talking about here, is that when we get caught up in the emotions, in the feelings, in everything that's happening in the heart like that, we lose that conscious awareness of what's going on. We get pulled in and all of a sudden we go back into that protective mode where we either go on the attack or we start defending. And either way, we're following along with what our emotions, with what our thoughts, with what our instincts are telling us to do rather than being aware of what's going on. So fear, learning about how this protective type of mentality really affects our day-to-day interactions has been a very valuable part of the book. And I will continue reading in this chapter more tomorrow. There's more to read about this. And so we'll continue with that tomorrow. In the meantime, hope you have a great day. I'll see you back here in 24 hours.